What's up, guys, and welcome back. So another combo guide-ish video, if you will. We did just do our scrap dinosaur list. That's actually a deck that I play regularly, so I put a lot more into it, but I wanted to give you guys a good look at what you can expect from Drytron, or if you're playing Drytron, some things that you should know. This is essentially like one of the go-to combos. Personally, I don't have Megalith in this build that I've been messing with, but maybe we will mess around with it and try it out a little bit later. However, I mean, we play the one full, but that's it. We're going to show you the main combo here, Alpha, Zeta, but there's so many different hands that can get you here. This is just obviously the easiest one. So your Alpha is going to pitch your Zeta, search out your Benton, then Zeta pitching the Benton, summon, and get your Medianus Drytron. Then you're going to actually overlay into the Fafnir. This card's insane. Not only does it dump your Gamma right away, you get to use its material for your ritual summoning, so you're not losing bodies on board, and you just get to like start plussing like crazy. Your Benton searched out your Diviner, which again, crazy because you get to dump your Arclight. We're going to search out our full here. And then you're going to use your Drytron, special summoning your full using the material like we said, copying Benton's level, adding Benton back to your hand, then Gamma contribute the Benton summon itself and the one you detach Benton effect, getting the ultimateness. Now you can go ahead and make your XZs lose a couple attack, get Medianus right back to your hand. And we're going into Beatrice now. Card's insane in the deck. Like, you can just pitch your Diviner, pitch the Eva from your deck, banish 2, search out your Diviner and Arclight, or not Arclight, your Orange Light, and you're going to be able to do it again because it's a quick effect, so you can use it on both players' turns. And now we're going to go into our Linkuriboh because we like to have the Linkuriboh. One more time, we're going to use the Medianus Drytron, summoning out our Ultimateness, and then you're going to go into an IP Masquerena. So here, like on your opponent's turn, you get to do this again, send your Eva again, then you can banish. You have Eva and your Benton in the graveyard, still the other copy that is, and you can search out another Herald and Herald, your Diviner and your Orange Light. So now that you would have 4 cards in hand, which means potentially 4 negates off your Ultimateness, and you can go into, say, Nightmare Unicorn and spin a card, or you can even go into, once you use your Beatrice and you don't need it anymore, you can use your IP, your Linkuriboh, and your Beatrice and your opponent's monster and just go into like a Underworld Goddess if you want to go with that route in that play. So there's just so much the deck can do, and it's got a lot of different combo routes obviously, but for the most part that is kind of a the go-to board, at least for the build that I had put together and been testing. Again, I do want to play around with it a lot more, but for the deck's just, it's crazy. It's so consistent. Like, virtually every hand gets to just combo off. It's nuts. Like, this hand wasn't even that good from the start. I mean, we got our Eva and our Orange Light already, so it's like Nibiru protection. But like, this hand was full combo, but like the hand wasn't like just loaded with extenders, but we're able to get the disruption on early, so in case they do try to disrupt you. But again, like, we're already at the point, we got our ultimates in hand, we got the Beatrice, we got the Fafnir, we got the other monsters on board. We just got an absolutely crazy hand, loaded hand, summon out our ultimateness and go into our IP Masquerena once again. And we have the Eva in hand that you can pitch with your ultimateness, then use the effect that way. Beatrice, we actually messed around too, where Beatrice we were dumping a Floodgate, and then still on our opponent, or still on our turn 1, you would just use your Beatrice, your Masquerena, and like your Linkuriboh and go into a Nightmare Griffin, discard a card, set the Floodgate. I went away from it because it felt more cheeky and not, I don't want to say less consistent, because it wasn't. If you open your Floodgate, you just set it and do the normal combo, but it didn't feel as optimal, and I felt like the better play is this. Keep it easy, keep it in front of you, and just do what the deck does good. Like, don't try and cram too much into it, which is a problem I see all too often in like deck building. People are like, oh well, you could do this, it's super strong, consistent, but just add these few cards and now you can be even crazier. But you're making the deck win more sometimes, and by trying to make the deck win more, you actually win less. So in this hand, we actually had to go into like Beatrice really early and not have our Fafnir set up, but we do get to Fafnir after a little bit. So then we get to send, from the deck. You don't have to send Gamma, believe it or not. You can send absolutely anything you want. Get that Benton back, tribute to Benton. Now we're going to get the search off of it, and we're going to go ahead and do it one more time, get our ultimateness. This time we don't get the Link Reeb on board, but you still have very easy access to like Nightmare Unicorn play. We end up locking them out with Lancia. So we hit them with the Lancia, we have the Talent in hand, we have double Orange Light, we have the Diviner. You can go into your Unicorn, you got ultimateness. Like, the deck is, it's crazy what the deck can do. And maybe you look at this and you say, why wouldn't you just want like ultimateness and your ruler? Like, isn't that just a better board? I mean, looking at the board state, yeah, it probably is, but at the same time, the recursion and the hand economy and like the resources and getting, your orange lights and getting all these cards in your hand off your Beatrice and being able to abuse it multiple times. And additionally, those awkward hands can actually start to do more now because of these other cards. And yeah, you could probably throw in the one Vanity's Ruler, and for hands where you like don't need to summon Diviner because you just open crazy, because it's actually happened a few times. I'm like, I don't even really need to summon this. I'm just going to normal it, dump my Arclight, and search out my follow-up play because I don't need it at all right now. Those types of hands, you could search out that Vanity's Ruler and still summon it if you do want to play Vanity's Ruler. But we're going to jump on into the deck list now. So pretty standard for the most part. I don't think there's anything that's really off the walls or crazy. None too much. Triple Zeta, triple Alpha, that's all standard. I like 2 Gamma. I know it's like debated between 1 or 2. I like 2 personally. Whether I open it or use the one later, I don't know. I just like the 2 Gammas so far. 1 Delta, it's plenty. That's it for your Drytron lineup. The double Eva, like, card's so good. If you're playing Beatrice, you have to play 2 of this card. You're not always going to send 2 off your Beatrice, but a lot of time you will. So you have to play 2 Eva if you're playing Beatrice. Triple Diviner, card's crazy. Triple Orange Light, duh. The 1 Lancia, because we can search it out. Just keep in mind, like, with the Eva, like, don't shotgun your Lancia before you get to use your Eva, because you're going to turn off your own Eva on your opponent's turn. So do it kind of like we did, banish for your costs off your Eva, and then chain your Lancia after you pay your cost. The 1 Drytron Minias Draconids, because it's a really easy big beater to get out, and you can just like crash over stuff, beat down your opponent with it. Like, it comes up once in a while, and it's nice to have that big body in the deck that's just so easily accessible and summonable. Ultimateness, cards, it's the ultimate monster in the deck. It's crazy. Card strong. Cyber Angel Benton, 1 is plenty. Obviously 3 is like stupid, but one's plenty for what the deck can do. Obviously people are going to start like siding for the deck again, so it's going to get a little interesting, and I'm sure things like this deck will change a little bit to counter as the format develops. But as far as a baseline, I really think this is a pretty strong build. The 1 full, we played without it, and the deck still does fine, but getting the free Benton into your hand instead of summoning the Benton from your graveyard, like, you lose it from your hand, but essentially it swaps places. Like, I just summon the Benton from the graveyard and use that, but instead of summoning full from my hand, but you summon full from your hand and you get Benton right back in your hand. And then, like, if you need to still dump a card yet, you have Benton in your hand, and now you're going to get another free search. It's just a good way to abuse our 1 copy of Benton. Triple Nova, 2 of the Ritual Spell Medianus. 2, you really should use 2. I use 2 actually on 1 turn all the time. Like, this card's so good. It's not, they'll add back from the graveyards once per turn, but even like DD Crow, things like that, Ghost Spell, when you try to add it back, like, having 2 is just really, really good. Fafnir, you need 1, but it's nice to see it because it's basically more copies of Nova. Or if you open your Nova, like I said, getting to your Medianus, the card's so good. Like, Fafnir just doubles up as extra copies of both of them. And like, I don't know, grind game, I guess it comes up to, but I wouldn't play less than 2 Fafnir. I know a lot of people are on 1, and I get it, but I personally wouldn't play less. Triple Emergency, 'cause it's just Rhoda for the for your Drytrons. Just 2 Preparation of Rites. we have full and Benton. It's we're playing 3 Benton. Pretty much what it comes down to. Oh, sorry. Getting late and needing to, I guess, go to bed because we have a day job to get to tomorrow. But yeah, so then I've been really liking Triple Tactics talent. Like when your opponent like ashes the Benton or they ash the Alpha, now it's like, oh, I'm just gonna draw 2 more cards and you know go ahead and win because now I got what I need because the deck's just crammed full of like crazy strong cards. Or I've had opponents like ash me at the wrong time, which I've had people ash like Fafnir. Like I open up with Fafnir and they ashed it, and it's just like okay, like that, you know, I'm gonna use my talents and look at your hand and pull a card because I don't even need more cards. Like you hit probably the worst card to ash in the deck, unless I like open horribly, but that just doesn't happen often. Talents though, drawing 2 cards to play through disruption, so crazy strong, crazy good. Called by the Grave, playing through disruption. Foolish Burial, free extender. Put one of your cards to the grave. Put Eva in the grave. Get a ritual in the grave to summon it off your spell. Like it's just really, really versatile, really, really strong. Instant fusion, called by the grave. Essentially, you summon your Millennium Eyes. It's a free body to use later once you put up a disruption, but before that, it's just a free extender. Then obviously you have your Millennium Eyes for your instant fusion, triple arc light, the one Fafnir. I like my Tweety Bird still. When worst case scenario, like stuff really doesn't. Well, I shouldn't say worst case. Worst case, you pass turn. But bad case scenario, things aren't really not going your way. You summon this, you survive the turn essentially, and it's easy to make Zeus even. Then the one there less because when you want to actually like poke for some damage before making your Zeus, Downard to get extra materials for your Zeus, Zeus because it's Zeus, Beatrice, card's crazy, card's good, really good, pretty good. Lynn Karibo, then we have our one Herald of the Mirage Lights. I actually hardly go into it. Um, I've I felt like previous Drytron build, it was a lot more common to go into, but like lately I like the IP play over it, and then IP into Unicorn, and not very common here. Like Underworld Goddess, like using your opponent at a key time, like just well I'm gonna use your monster to link now, like okay, like I win, or like even going into Unicorn to spin it. Most people just do that and call it good. I like to actually go into the big body, and then if your opponent activates a card that special summons from the graveyard, which I don't know if you guys noticed, but Drytron does it. Dinosaur does it if they didn't already use Myth. What else does it? Dragon Link will do it at some point. Like pretty much all the top decks will try to summon from the graveyard at some point or another. Eldritch. Actually, Eldritch doesn't do it. It adds to your hand and then summons. It's a bad example there. You cannot hit the Golden Lord with this, but you can hit Sanguine. So I mean, it does hit Eldritch, I guess. It'll hit Sanguine, even if they like, because they don't pick deck or graveyard. So if they activate Sanguine, you just underworld it. Boral Sword, I like it to push for game. Card's crazy, card's strong. Access Code does almost as good of a job, if not better, because you can actually get a 5300 access code and pop their whole field. Say you have ultimateness, that's already 7300 on board, so it's really, really not hard to get that extra 700. But at the end of the day, I ended up going with Boral Sword. But yeah, so that was pretty much the go-to combo. A couple test hands quickly where our hands were less than ideal, but we still were able to do it because the deck's so crazy consistent. And then our deck list. Let me know down below what you guys think. Stick around for more combo guides. We will have Tri-Brigade. What are we going to mix it with? Harpies or Zodiac? Probably do Tri-Brigade Zodiac first. See how that goes over. Get you guys a combo guide. And seeing how much you guys like it, we will do a deck profile in a separate video. Otherwise, we have our Scrap Dino deck profile coming soon. Cyber Synchro deck profile coming soon. A lot of other videos planned as well, such as the top 10 decks of COVID. You're not going to want to miss it, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you for watching and take care.